Welcome everybody to our new format that we're going to do with our Critical Response Awards, and here we are at the Scottsdale Police Department. I'm Sergeant Kevin Kwan at the Community Engagement Section, and on behalf of the Scottsdale Police Department, I want to welcome you to our award ceremony. If you're able to, we ask that you please stand and as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In attendance, we have 1,000 people in attendance and millions at home, so that's kind of how we do it here at Scottsdale Police Department. But we have our Chief, Jeff Walter here, and our Director, Robert Bokitsky, as well as from our command staff. Today, we're here to recognize 3 employees for a Critical Response Award. And similar to what we've done in the past with how our award
communications, because I see Kevin back there. He's like, "Oh no, you don't have to." Is the chief going to say that to everybody? No, I keep that a small group. Here's why. is that I can have all kinds of officers and detectives and out on the road doing great things. Without communications, we're not going anywhere. You have to have people who are taking a call, you have to have people who are dispatching a call. And in this case, with Liz, you know, you're like the first real-time crime center. People looking at it and saying, okay, how can I pull up cameras? How can I, you know, how can we get there? Bo and I have had this discussion, I've had this conversation with Chief Slavin over patrol and special operations is, with that thought process, right, you become an investigator in communications. But what you wind up really doing is when we talk about everything in the police department is about response time. And in response time, that's when you have an officer physically on scene. Well, how about a virtual response time? What a crazy world we get into when we're talking about a virtual response time, where you have eyes and ears, typically just eyes, on a scene before, like, I think we looked at it both. We have eyes on scene 4 minutes typically before we actually have an officer on scene. Super cool, but it adds a really cool element to your job that you didn't have before. And so I will always say that dispatch communications are unsung heroes in law enforcement, because kind of like my wife at home, I don't do anything unless she tells me where to go, and former dispatcher, and that's here too. Our folks can go nowhere until you take the call, until you dispatch the call, until you provide the information. We'll go nowhere. And we see that when CAD goes down or phones go down, which we've had in the last several months. It's you have a bunch of cops just, okay, where do we go? We don't know where to go. And so this is really kind of my opportunity to thank you for all that you do for this particular event, because it's not just the cops on the road that do the great things. It's the dispatchers and call takers and communications. And this is that, the call taker or the dispatch and communications, where you see what's going on and then put the information in the call to solve a crime. Folks on the road, we're just like, oh, tell me where to go. And then we make the arrest. So thanks for that, and thanks for everybody who's watching. A lot of great work that gets done day in and day out here. Unsung heroes, but this is what we do, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
So we did get notification that our audio did die, so Chief holding it to the mic, it's just kind of the way it goes in 2022 where our things are. So we'll just talk louder this time for it. That's not even feeding anything, so.
It's live TV.
It's live TV, it's what we love. Okay, I've got a slide here. All right, our next Critical Response Award nomination is for Dispatcher Jessica Triglone. On Friday, November 12, 2021, a call was placed to 911 from a woman that had been threatened by a man with a gun in an apartment complex in Scottsdale. Information indicated that she was still in danger, and officers responded to the apartment, but they were unable to locate the apartment number or the victim. No information was available through police databases that we often use, so officers asked dispatch if they could disconnect and call the victim directly. During that process, patrol was setting up for a possibly violent situation based on the comments that were coming into the call. Dispatcher Jessica Triglone was familiar with newer technology and that was recently introduced to communications, and that was in the testing phase. Rapid Deploy Radius Plus mapping system showed that the caller's location was at a gas station at 30th Street and Washington, which is in the city of Phoenix. The caller did not pick up the call from officers when they attempted to contact her, which further escalated the concern for the safety and the safety of other residents of that complex. Jessica then contacted Phoenix PD and notified them of the situation and the caller's location. She also notified Sergeant Zobel, who was on scene at the apartment complex, of the discrepancies that she saw during the call. Meanwhile, the caller contacted Phoenix PD a second time using a different name but reporting a similar situation. Phoenix dispatchers sent officers to the gas station to meet with the caller. Dispatcher Jessica Triglone's actions resulted in an immediate change in the tactical plan for this incident. Sergeant Zobel had enough information to confidently make operational decisions in the field. An extremely dangerous situation was averted. Without this information, additional resources may have been called out and the situation could have easily escalated. Following the incident, Sergeant Zobel stated that the information about the location from Rapid Deploy made a huge difference in this call. He said the information was critical in the decision that he was going to make, along with other information that provided to break down this scene. Dispatcher Jessica Treglon's quick action to utilize new technology reduced the risk to officers and Scottsdale citizens, as well as saving extra resources that would have been deployed in this type of incident. Her actions are worthy of a Critical Response Award, and therefore we are here to honor her with that. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Jessica Treglon as she receives a Critical Response Award from Chief Walter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Congratulations. You want to talk again?
You can, it's just loud talking.
Yeah, actually, I'm just going to add just a couple things to that first part, which is, in listening to both of these and this one now, I think it really hits home how integrated we are, right, in our profession, and that I get a lot of questions when I'm out amongst other chiefs or people in the community, and they ask me a question, and the question is, how many sworn police officers do you have? I got to tell you that question has become irrelevant to me. What I talk about is how many employees we have. And there's a reason why, since coming back, we've changed the name of the idea of sworn and civilian, or sworn and something that we called non-sworn in the past, and now we have our sworn component, our professional staff component, both professionals, but two different tracks, right? But organizationally, I don't say, well, I have this many sworn. I say, well, I have just under 700 total employees. And there's strategic thinking in that, and that is about what we were talking about in these two awards in particular, and how well we mesh together from the time a call comes in to the time it's now routed to dispatch, and it used to be a long time ago where a call came in, and based on technology, you entered the call in and the call went out, right? Today, there are so many cool things that we have here and that we continue to get through great leadership and communications that we have now, that we say, how can I better assist on this call? How much more information can I get? Cameras, can I pull up cameras? Can I provide the officers more and more information? And you don't have to be married to a police officer to understand, like here and like in my own personal life, to still understand how important leveraging that technology is to getting more and more and more information out on a call. These are two great examples of going above and beyond, but really leveraging the technology to say, how can I get first responders more information so that they can be safe, they can take people into custody? How can I partner, with patrol, detectives in a more seamless way? And that's this. This is really that seamless integration throughout the entire organization. And that's why the idea of how many sworn you have is irrelevant to me. What's important to me is the number of total employees I have that are all focused and geared toward the same mission. So great job to both of you. And thanks for those who are listening or not listening based on the technology that we've clearly failed at today. So thanks everybody, and thanks for everybody who's coming. I know you can't see at home, but there are 100 people here, and we really appreciate your time. Thanks everybody.